Welcome to Be Less Stupid. I'm the host, John Hotchkiss. Thanks to a report on January 25th in the New York Times, we now know that sometime during the month of June 2016, President Trump ordered his White House counsel to fire the special prosecutor, Bob Mueller. Trump's lawyers thought it was such a horrible idea, he threatened to quit, in which case Donald Trump backed down. So, if Trump tries to fire Mueller in June, that means that anytime the media asks one of his spokespeople if the president is thinking about firing Mueller, and that person says no, that will be a lie. Cut to August 8th, 2016, about 2 months later, Kellyanne Conway is being interviewed by George Stephanopoulos, who asks her if the president will commit to not firing Bob Mueller. Now, she could have said yes and left it at that, in which case it might not have been a lie, because he's asking about the future. Will the president commit to something in the future? However, Kellyanne gives much more of an answer than that.
The president has not even discussed that. The president is not discussing firing Bob Mueller.
But will he commit not to fire him?
And cooperating with. He has not even discussed not fire. He's not discussed firing Bob Mueller.
That's not what I'm asking.
And in fact, Ty Cobb. Well, hold on. I'm not the president's lawyer here, but I will tell you as his counselor, he is not discussing that.
Now, you saw that, right? She says the president has not even discussed that, referring to firing Bob Mueller. She says the president is not discussing firing Bob Mueller. She also said he's not discussed firing Bob Mueller. And she also adds, as his counselor, he's not discussing that. Again, referring to the firing of Bob Mueller. Those are 4 lies. They refer to stuff that happened in the past. Ergo, those are lies. 4 times in a row, Kellyanne just flat out lies. She knows the truth. She knows what happened. She knows that back in June, Trump ordered his lawyer to fire Bob Mueller. Trump didn't just talk about firing Mueller with his lawyer. He wasn't asking him for some advice. He didn't ask, well, what would happen if I did that? And the reason we know this is because the New York Times cares about words. They chose that word ordered very specifically. They chose ordered because it described what the president did. Trump ordered his lawyer to fire the special prosecutor investigating him for conspiring with the Russians to undermine the United States election. And here's the thing about Kellyanne, and so many other people in our lives. Their faces don't change when they tell a lie. To me, lying and telling the truth look the same. And it frustrates me that I can't tell the difference. I mean, I can have suspicions, but for all intents and purposes, lying and truth-telling look the same. And it's maddening to not be able to tell the difference with an absolute certainty. Who do you trust? Are we putting our trust into people who are manipulating us? I did a little bit of research to find out why people lie. And are we, as the audience or voters, are we giving off signals that might actually encourage people to lie to us? Or at the very least, maybe, is there something about us that doesn't actively discourage people from lying to us? Anyway, here's a couple of things that I think that we all should consider. Sometimes people lie to us because we have high expectations of those around us. So sometimes people don't tell us the truth because they don't want to disappoint us. Is that what's happening here? I don't think so. I mean, if my expectations of Trump were any lower, a gardener would have to fertilize them. Sometimes people lie to us in order to impress us. As voters, we have a great deal of control over the lives and the careers and the success of a politician. So in order to stay in our good graces, in order to impress us, in order to stop us from voting for someone else, sometimes, okay, a lot of times, politicians say whatever they need to in order to keep their job. Maybe there are politicians who lie to us because we voters are scary or we're bullies, and the politician is afraid because they don't know how we will react to the truth. If they told us the truth, we might shoot up the place, or we might slap someone with a glove, assuming it were winter and we were wearing gloves. Also, politicians lie to us because they think sometimes that we're fragile and that we're easily triggered. So if a politician suspected voters were in a vulnerable position, they might want to spare us a painful truth. Politicians also lie to us because they can sense that we're not interested in the truth. Consider a young woman who's sexually harassed by the male host of a successful morning talk show. She might be reticent to discuss or might actively lie about the host's actions if she were asked by her boss, for fear that the boss doesn't want to hear bad news about the star. Politicians also lie to us because they know that there's no real punishment for getting caught. The repercussions for lying to voters are somewhere between slim and slim adjacent. It's not that there's no repercussions, it's that there aren't enough to make politicians think about the consequences of lying. If Trump goes on TV and says that the crowd at his inauguration was the biggest ever, police don't show up at his house and arrest him. Voters don't abandon him. In fact, his voters like it. They elected him because they think that he's not going to take shit from libtards and snowflakes. Okay, so a little something to think about. Maybe how we as voters might encourage politicians to lie to us. That's it for this episode of Be Less Stupid. Please remember to share this video with your friends, especially on Facebook. And please remember to like our page. You got to click the button. I think it's over here, right over here. You got to click the button that likes our page. That way you'll get 2 to 3 new videos in your timeline every week. And look, for the time being, it's still 100% totally free. All right, that's it. I will see you next time on Be Less Stupid.